Anybody who's not planning to do an MBA? Okay, good. So all of you are planning to do an MBA, and as I've said this perhaps many times in the class, it is the second most important decision in your life. You know the most important? See, the married guys are always right. Okay? Second most important decision after getting married, and the risks are the same. Okay? Time, money, energy, and most importantly, you want to be confident that you are making the right decision. Correct? So, what really happens is every year people go through the same motions of taking the GMAT, of applying to B schools, selecting B schools, putting in their app, interviewing, and finally getting an admit. Right? Though it remains the same, each one has a different story to say. Correct? So what we thought, let's create a CrackVerbal Alumni. So a CrackVerbal Alumni by definition is like you would have an alumni with any other association. We would have a CrackVerbal Alumni where we would have people come in and they would actually be people who would advise the next batch of applicants. Right? So hopefully many of you who are in the audience who are applying this year get through to a top B school, and next year you get to be the CrackVerbal Alumni. I hope you come here and you come and share your experiences with others, right? So that's really the plan that we have. What we are going to do is we're going to conduct it this way. We're going to have a panel discussion. So the reason we plan to have a panel discussion is more because we would like to take a particular point, right? What are the typical points that you think concern you? What are the things that you want to hear from? So that is the zone. Okay. So what are the things that you probably want? I'll try this once more. So that's the zone. So what are the things that you would like to hear? So I would like to have one scribe. Aditya, can be a scribe and just write it down. So what are the things that you would like to hear from them? Okay, and basically, you know, keep it open. Like, what are the things that you think worry you? So what we will try to do is, perhaps we will try to answer some of these questions. We already have thought through some questions, but what are the things that are really, you know, going in your mind? What is it that you think you would like to know? What is the thing that, you know, is troubling you?
What should be the preparation normally timeline at what stage? How to analyze yourself, the level of preparation you
GMAT?
Yeah.
Okay, but this is specific to GMAT, right?
Yeah.
GMAT prep, you can just say timeline for GMAT prep. How long did it take? How did they eventually ended up with the kind of scores they got, right? Cool. Anything else? What does the AdCom expect? What does the AdCom expect? Here, if getting married is the analogy to doing an MBA, AdCom is really your future father-in-law, right? So what does he expect? Good question. What does the AdCom expect from a profile, from a person who gets admitted to a B school? Great. Scholarship? Funding? Then you can say slash scholarship. So if they got any kind of funding, any kind of scholarship. In short, how do I do an MBA for free? Right? Interesting, because that's a huge challenge, right? So you would have probably heard stories about how much does a US MBA cost? 1 crore? 1.2 crores? So all of you have that much in bank, right? You know? Okay. We will see how to get that magic number. What else? International experience. Can I say experience? Yeah, experience as such, and particularly, you know, what kind of international experience is it important? How is it important?
For the working professional, how much does their present profile, the work profile, affect their selection in the?
When you say work profile, can I say it's clubbed together with the work experience part? The work experience part, okay. The time spent. What do you do? Okay, post GMAT, what do you do? Right? So post GMAT, post 760, what do you do? No, I'm not joking. He actually got a 760 on the GMAT. Yeah, so just say post GMAT. I'm assuming that you would get that. So What would you do post GMAT? What is the first thing? So sometimes do you agree that your life actually is that GMAT test, right? So you keep studying. One day you get a magic 3-digit number. Then you wake up. What do I do? Right? Where do I start? Correct? So application strategy, good point. Anything else? Recommendation letters, perhaps part of application strategy. So you'll probably take that. You can just mention reco maybe. How to select B schools? I heard the next question, I'm coming there. How to select B schools? Yeah, selection. Who said placements? They are more worried than you. They're like, oh, yeah, placement, what happens? So honestly, I perhaps would not ask them this question because you understand they are also in the same role. It is just that they have taken the GMAT, they have applied and they have gotten an admit. So I don't think they would be the best people to answer. My co-host is going to be Amin, who is going to moderate the second panel. He's from ISB. He perhaps has a better judge of at least ISB post-MBA career path, so he could probably give you throw some light on that. So you can probably say extracurriculars, how do I? So all of it comes under application strategy, right? Extracurriculars, okay. Anything else? Kind of comes under funding and scholarship. Living expenses, they are also figuring out. Their mother has already packed Maggie. Looking at the... So yes, but you know, how do you survive on a shoestring budget when you are a student? What else? All good? Career switch. They hope, but we will ask them what they wrote in the application. What is it? 2 years later, we'll ask them, what are you doing now? And we'll try to map it. For now, we can just say what is the career, post-MBA career path that they wrote in the application. I think that's a valid question to ask, right? Whether they eventually will be able to do that is something that they themselves are trying to figure out. What else? All good? Good. So let me do this. Let me get started with the first panel. Okay. So we got this very nice, thanks Aditya. So first I would like to, I'll just go and give the name and I'm going to give an introduction of that person. So in case you're there, you can just come over. First one is Naveen Kumar. So Naveen studied electronics and communications at BMS College, Bangalore, and worked at Oracle as a solution associate for a year. Then he worked in Abu Dhabi as a techno-functional consultant for 2.5 years, and finally in PNX Logistics as a business development manager for the last 1 year. He scored 740 on the GMAT, and he has got through Michigan State University with a scholarship, and Carnegie Mellon University, and he's been waitlisted at Ross, which is University of Michigan. Right? Excellent. So you can just... next I have Harsha, and he did his electronics and communication engineering from MS Ramaya from 2008 to 2012. Worked in Oracle as a software engineer for 2.5 years, scored 750 on the GMAT. Incidentally, it's his third attempt, 600, 710, and then 750, and he's gotten through Kenan Flagler. Third one, Garv Sawhney. He studied electronics and telecommunications at Pune University, worked at Infosys as a business consultant for 5 years. After 750 on the GMAT, he has gotten through Michigan Ross, Carnegie Mellon, Tepper, ISB, UT Austin, McCombs, Emory, and Georgetown. Have you heard of this good problem, bad problem? Bad problem, I didn't get admitted anywhere, what do I do? Good problem, too many admissions, what do I do? And finally, Paul George currently works as the director of a startup which is into design, development, and manufacturing of automotive ancillaries that he co-founded in 2013. Prior to this, he worked with the Bosch Group for close to 4 years, and before joining Bosch, worked for Infosys for about 1.5 years. He's a BTech holder in electronics and communication engineering from Mahatma Gandhi University and scored a humble 650 on the GMAT, and has gotten through University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, Arizona State University, Boston College, and University of Pittsburgh with a huge scholarship. Excellent. So I assume that there is no chair for me, so I'll stand, that's no problem. I'm used to that. So I'll just kind of get started. So I think I've given an introduction to your backgrounds, your profiles. So I see two of you from Oracle, two of you have some Infosys background.